on this episode of the Clip Service podcast. The Clippers managed to get through a pretty messed up February. We talked about it on the earlier shows. Some cracks were starting to show, and that was pretty apparent in what was an uncharacteristically bad month for the Clippers. The Clippers go 6-5 in the month of February, but it's a new month, guys. We're into March, and the Clippers have been playing pretty well in this new month. We're 2-0 so far. We got a tough back-to-back tomorrow. What are you laughing at, Rolla?
Nothing, bro. Nothing, bro.
Okay. All right.
Got something to say.
Okay. Well, we're going to save that for the show. So without further ado, let's make it happen.
What's up, Clipper Nation?
Yeah. Let it ring. Let it ring out.
No, I actually forgot what I had to say.
All right. Well, continue because we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Where can they find us?
What's up, Clipper Nation? Shit. What's up? What's up, Clipper Nation? And welcome to the Clip Service podcast. Make sure you check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Amazon Music, YouTube, and you can also find us on Twitter, or what they call it X now, at Clip Service Pod, and also on Instagram at Clip Service Pod. I'm Rolla, and this is my co-host Nick, joined with the great Connor Bell.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. I know the guy that you've been wanting to see this whole time. It's been lonely.
I know.
Been having to deal with Rolla this whole time.
But we got an exciting show today, and I think we got a lot to say.
We do. A lot to get off our chest. As we said up top, the Clippers kind of trudged through February. Things are so close up top, 1 through 4. As you can see by our standings right now, we are currently 4th in the West. And after today's win against the Timberwolves, which we'll cover in a little bit, we currently, I think, sit 2 games back from a 3-way tie for the first seed, I believe. So things are pretty close. Obviously, don't want to take the losses that we did in February, but after a really, really big win today, we're still kind of in the mix. But we do need to cover some of that, as painful as it's going to be. And we talked about it before we started this show. Rolla wants to jump right into the Lakers game. We're going to go back to the Kings game, which was first. But that Lakers game was probably the most brutal loss I've seen in a while. The Clippers blew a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Los Angeles Lakers, who have played us pretty hard this season. Contrary to the last couple of years, we've kind of been dominating them top to bottom. But they've been giving us the work. Rolla, you wanted to jump right into this, so let's hear what you got to say first.
Yes, sir. So, like all of Clipper Nation and all Clipper fans, what day was the game played on? Wednesday? Thursday?
The Lakers game was on Wednesday, the 28th.
Yeah, so Wednesday night, I was sick to my stomach.
Yeah, I definitely had to take some Tums after that game.
I actually threw up all over my living room floor.
Damn. When it's bad, Clipper Nation.
It was one of the worst chokes I think I've seen this season from the Clippers.
It was the worst one to me.
Yeah, a 21-point collapse. I gotta say one name off the rip. Putting this loss on one singular person.
Okay.
And his name is James Harden.
Okay. Let's elaborate on that.
So James Harden has been unbelievable for our team so far. Mm-hmm. He's done so much. He's really controlled the entire team from the point guard position. He's shown why he has been a top 10 player in the league for years, um, former MVP, former scoring title winner. In this game in particular, he
He had
played like
23 points. He had
dog
23
shit.
points. He did
In the
have
fourth
four.
in the fourth quarter, he played like dog shit, dude. When it the what broke me was the inbound that he literally just threw out of bounds.
Oh, yeah, in the
And
corner to Norm.
yeah, he literally just threw it out. And I get it. Norm probably made the wrong move or whatever. But in those high pressure situations,
Can't be
to
doing that.
throw a ball out of bounds, bro. Yeah. So I'm putting this on James Harden. I think it was 80% James Harden and
Wow.
20% Ty Lue. I
Damn,
mean,
I guess
no,
we
I'll,
watched
I'll
two
give it.
different games because
I'll give it
we're
10% Ty Lue. I'll give it
okay.
10% Ty Lue, and I'll give it 10% Kawhi, and then
So you're going to give it to the two leading scorers. And okay, I'm going to let
yes,
you get
because
your.
it doesn't matter. The thing is, it doesn't matter.
And we didn't have
this is
Paul
what
George.
pisses me
For those
off.
of you that don't know, we did not have Paul
Yeah.
George in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. No Paul George. We're up by 21. There's
No
no
Zubats.
excuse. I'm sorry, dude. There's no excuse to lose.
No, there's not.
A 21 point in a quarter. 21 point lead in a quarter is
Yep.
insane to lose. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
We were destroying them the entire game. Um, the issue is LeBron just went off. LeBron,
Mhm.
I believe he had like less than 20 points going into the fourth quarter, and he ended the game with 34 points. I believe it was 34 points. And this dude just took over, and we did not know what to do. We did not know how to guard him. We did not know. We were completely lost and had nothing
He had
to
seven
fight with.
threes. He had 7 threes in the game.
Yeah.
Uh, outscored the Clippers by himself in the fourth, 19-16.
Unbelievable.
And he scored or assisted on 11 of the Lakers' 13 baskets in the final quarter.
Unbelievable, dude.
I
I
mean,
mean, I get it. It's LeBron James. He's the GOAT. But, dude, this is unacceptable. James Harden. And I'm sorry. Connor, give it to you in a second. But this is what terrifies me, man, is these situations are going to come up a lot in the playoffs, especially in the West, because there are so many fantastic, amazing teams in the West. And James Harden has to step. And this is James Harden's thing. This is what his biggest criticism has been: is this dude collapsed in the playoffs, and we just saw a playoff like situation, and we watched him collapse, and that's what's my biggest fear, honestly. Take it
Okay.
away, Connor.
Yeah, let's hear it, Connor.
I mean, I was just gonna add. I think
Before Rolla fucking explodes.
I don't
Dude.
know. I mean, I think our defense is overall like pretty solid with what we have on our team, and also the fact that a lot of the players that are our defensive units are really good offensively too. But just I feel like our perimeter defense, we just allow a lot of threes, and I kind of knew that was going to happen from the Lakers team, and on top of LeBron just popping off. I don't know. I feel like we just need to step up our perimeter defense because, like Rolla was saying, in the playoffs and like teams against the West, like we're gonna face so many challenges of just open threes, different plays to get people open. We're not covering our zones. Like we're like doubling down on people, things like that. Like it's gonna get tough. So I don't know. And we can't
No,
show 21-point lead. That's
No, we can't. And you bring up a good point because this it's kind of been the theme of this season. The Clippers rely a lot on their offense, and when their shots aren't falling, they tend to not make up for it on defense. We've been a middle of the pack, if not a subpar defense, kind of give and take throughout the entire season. I think we are good enough offensively and we have enough of the tools offensively to not have that be our bread and butter. Like we don't need to be this elite defensive team. I think we just need to be average. I mean, you see it from the Thunder, right? The Thunder are like a top 5 offense in the league and they're kind of a mid defense. Conversely, you see the other side of things with the Timberwolves. They're a fantastic defense and actually kind of a subpar offense. And that kind of bit them in the butt today in the game that we played against them. But yeah, I think that you bring up a good point, Connor. I think we need to sharpen because a lot of the defensive issues are things that we can fix. People are missing coverages, backdoor cuts. Simple action. We're getting beat on simple action. Someone will cut baseline and get an easy dunk or easy layup, or like you said, Connor. It's a lot of the time we'll be giving up open threes. I think this Laker game was a little different. So a lot of the threes that we saw, particularly from LeBron, who had a season high 7 threes, um, a lot of them were either just tough shots, LeBron fuck it threes or whatever you want to call it, or it was bad switches. You kind of saw it all over Twitter from people that actually know what they're talking about. And the big criticism was that Kawhi wasn't taking the assignment of guarding LeBron straight up. And every time that they would come for a switch, you'd find that it was Daniel Tice, who's been incredible lately, but you'd find that it was Daniel Tice switching on to LeBron, and Daniel Tice doesn't have the lateral foot speed to be able to cover Braun at the perimeter, and it ended up in a 3. I think, obviously James Harden with 4 turnovers, that's not something you want to see. Did have 23 points, and then Kawhi, I believe, had 24. Had 24 in the game. Let's see. 26.
Yeah.
With 6 assists and 1 steal. 7 rebounds. But this one, to me, a big part of this run that the Lakers went on was, and you kind of saw it the moment that it happened. This is just what I saw. I don't put as much blame on James or Kawhi. I put a lot of it on Ty for this reason. Mason Plumlee and PJ Tucker, I've talked time and time again about PJ Tucker and the situation that we have with PJ Tucker. Me and Rolla went back and forth on it in a couple episodes ago, but I really don't want to see the Clippers offer PJ Tucker pity minutes because they feel like he needs to play because he's felt like he's been slighted by this organization and blah, blah, blah. He thinks that he's still the PJ Tucker that he used to be and he deserves minutes. That is not the case. He is not even close to the PJ Tucker that he used to be. He's the second oldest player in the league, and he gave us nothing. He gave us nothing this game. There was a play where Russell Westbrook was facing up on LeBron and had him sealed off. Braun was going to have to take a tough turnaround jumper. PJ Tucker comes in, pushes Russ out of the way, tries to guard LeBron himself, draws a 3-point play. LeBron hits the shot, falls back, does a somersault, and hits the free throw for the 3-point play. Then he goes and turns the ball over, fouls Anthony Davis for a 3-point play. PJ Tucker did nothing, and he was getting cooked by LeBron all game long.
Yeah.
And that to me is unacceptable. The fact that he's even getting minutes. PJ Tucker, when he was in his prime, was one of the best defenders I've ever seen. He's a champion. He's got nothing to prove, but he does not have a place on this team, and we cannot be giving him minutes just to give him minutes. Kobe Brown, Moussa Diabate, those guys are the guys that if we really need another person to just throw out there, we need to give them minutes over him. 100%. 100%. The small minutes that I've seen from Kobe Brown this season have been better than anything that I've seen from PJ Tucker. You want to know how many points PJ Tucker has this season? 6.
0.
He has
6 the whole season?
Points.
Wait,
the
6.
whole season.
Well, didn't he
the whole season? And he got legitimate playing time early on in the season. He did. He's afraid to shoot, and he can't defend the way that he used to. And then that brings me to Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee checks in the game, turns the ball over twice, leading to, if I'm not mistaken, 2 threes by the Lakers. And then he one of the turnovers was he grabbed a rebound and started taking the ball up the court, thinking he was Magic Johnson. Cam Reddish comes behind him, steals the ball, leads to another 3 by D'Angelo Russell, I think. Mm-hmm. And he was providing no defense. Mason Plumlee, the Clippers are in a situation where we're going to have to play Mason Plumlee a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. He's our only backup big with size. Tice has been amazing. He's been amazing, but he lacks the size. He's only an inch taller than Kawhi Leonard. There are going to be times where we're going to have to count on Mason Plumlee to just give us a couple minutes, and he cannot be going out there and single-handedly leading to a 7-0 Lakers run. Yeah. That can't happen. So those two people, along with Ty Lue, are the people that I blame for this one.
But how could you not blame the superstars on the team? That's
because the superstars did what they needed to do. They scored in double.
They didn't. They did in those first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, they did not play the game of basketball. They got outscored by LeBron himself, dude.
Guess who was guarding him? Guess who was guarding him?
The thing is, Kawhi's on the court. Why isn't he scoring? That's the big question, dude. That's what's pissing me off. Why isn't James Harden scoring? He's on the court, bro. LeBron is pulling his dick out, bruh. Play,
He
score, do
is.
something,
Of
dude.
course he is, dude. But
LeBron
you
was
have
guarding
to,
Kawhi straight up. LeBron is 40 years old, dude.
you have to be able to put blame on the people
What the
that
hell?
single-handedly lead to this run. Because
But if it leads to the run, okay, if it leads to run, fine, whatever. These are role players. They get paid whatever, right? But at the end of the day, we put in these stars to okay, fine, right? We lost the 21-point lead. Now we're at 10. Kawhi, take us fucking home. Score the same amount of points as LeBron James.
the writing was
keep
already
the gap.
the writing was already on the wall, dude.
I just don't
the writing
think so,
was
dude.
already
I just think
if
I
we
just
can
think
give the role players,
if you have James Harden on your team and Kawhi Leonard for one quarter and you have a 10-point gap, how are you not winning that game, dude?
Okay.
Am I insane?
So I think that if we can give a role player credit for helping us win, we can do the same thing on the other end. For example, today against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Norman Powell and Kawhi Leonard single-handedly brought us back into the game and allowed us to win. Norman Powell had a monster game, and I would say that I could give him credit for the win. Now, if you can give a role player credit for a win, you can give a role player slander for leading to a run that ended up putting us away. You know how Laker fans are. Laker fans get very involved in the game. They're loud. They're passionate. This game was over the moment that we started letting them get their confidence back because they were dead in the water. We were up 21 in the fourth, and you have to give responsibility. It doesn't matter how low you are in the pecking order. If you are going to single-handedly open the door for like Kawhi Leonard can't. If he's not guarding the person that's single-handedly leading the Lakers back into the game, then I can't put the blame on him. I can put the blame on him in a regard that, like, okay, yeah, maybe he should be taking that assignment and staying on LeBron, don't switch. But at the end of the day, if you are going to be playing lax defense, turning the ball over and stuff like that, I'm going to give you your share of the blame for the
Well,
loss.
would you say LeBron is an elite defender? Or so I'm confused. So LeBron, I get it, fine, right? Kawhi shouldn't have been switching off of LeBron, but what about on the other end? How is Kawhi not torching LeBron, 39 years old?
Because
that's my biggest question.
We can give Kawhi some blame and James Harden some blame for not hitting.
How is James Harden throwing a point guard throwing away a inbounding pass, bro?
That was one play when the game, to me, the game, like I said, the game was already over when Mason Plumlee checks in the game and basically leaves the door wide open for the Lakers. They get all the confidence back. D'Angelo Russell hit a shot that he didn't even bring down. He caught the ball at shoulder height and just released it. And you have to
Batum used to do that too.
You have to be feeling yourself,
of course,
to be able to hit that shot with confidence. And they were, and the writing was on the wall. The Lakers knew they were going to win that game.
Yeah. I think they knew they were going to win that game because I think they knew offensively we were just completely shook. Like when you see that our superstars are shook, when you see James Harden having these careless turnovers, not confident with his passes, not confident shooting the ball, not confident driving to the hoop, then obviously they're going to feel the confidence. If we're matching them scoring, if Kawhi is able to match LeBron's scoring on the other end against LeBron James, who's 39 years old, who doesn't have the speed, who doesn't have the athleticism that he once did, then we win that game, dude. We had the advantage. Even though they had the confidence, even though they went on a run, we could have gone on our own run to end that game, and we didn't, and we choked at the end of the day. And I think choking and in high pressure situations. Sorry, I'll give this off to you, Connor. Give me 1 second. I think choking in those high pressure situations is what scares me so much because that comes up in the playoffs, and if we're choking like that in the playoffs, that's how we fucking lose those bullshit series, and that's how we choke 3-1 leads.
You want to know how you fix that? Connor, I'm going to let you get to it in just a sec. You want to know how you fix that?
How?
You don't play PJ Tucker because you feel bad for him.
Yeah,
you don't play Mason Plumlee. You take Mason Plumlee out the second that he loses the ball trying to be John Stockton in the open court. Those are things that you have to be able to see. It's unserious plays. And those are things you have to be able to see and correct. And I put that on Ty Lue. And Ty Lue, we gave Doc Rivers shit for not doing this. This is one thing I love about Ty Lue. After the game, Ty Lue said, I put all of that responsibility on me. And
Mhm.
so he even Ty Lue knows these are situations that you can prevent by playing the players that deserve to be out there. And
Yeah.
you saw it all game. PJ Tucker was getting beat every time out. He had more turnovers than he had points for most of that game. And that kind of thing, it spills blood into the water for a team that is basically out of the game already. And LeBron James is one of the greatest of all time. Like, he hit some big shots, and he knew that the writing was on the wall, and he took over. Connor, go ahead. Let's hear what you got to say.
I mean, I was just gonna wrap it up and kind of go into the next game because I think you boys are both right.
Oh yeah, no, okay, yes, yeah, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, it's
We get passionate on here, boys
Dude,
and girls.
it's the loss. It's the fact that it was to the Lakers. That's what
Yeah,
pisses
it was
me off.
devastating, especially because to open the game, Terrence Mann had a nasty poster.
Terrence was going off, bro. The fact that we can't even talk about how well Terrence played.
Can we give a little credit to Terrence Mann? He's been playing.
He fucking balled out that game, bro.
He's been playing exceptionally. But yeah, let's backtrack a little bit. We're gonna just quickly talk about the loss before that. After this loss to the Lakers, this was the first back-to-back loss that the Clippers have taken since they lost 6 in a row early on in the season. The Clippers have been handling business after losses, but unfortunately not this time around. The Kings what didn't sting as much because we know they present, Clippers have a hard time staying in front of shifty breakneck speed guards, and De'Aaron Fox is the fastest, shiftiest guard in the league. Besides maybe John Morant. De'Aaron Fox had 33 points in this one. Our leading scorer was Norman Powell. This one was a blowout. The Kings beat the Clippers 123-107. This one, to me, I think we talked about it last episode. This was kind of one that I knew was going to be tough. And again, this was another game where PJ Tucker got some first quarter minutes. Didn't really do anything. 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 0 for 0 from 3-point, and 0 for 1 from the field.
Yeah, we
played 5 minutes, and that was all I needed to see. There's not much else to say in this one besides the fact that the Kings outplayed us. And we didn't have PG in this one. Norm started. I think that was one of the bigger blunders was, when in the games where where we don't have PG, or we don't have, if we're missing somebody in the starting lineup, I think that we need to start Amir and keep Norm off the bench, because you saw it from our bench this one. Our bench did not have any scoring juice. This was before we started playing Bones again. And, Russ is great at a lot of things, but he has trouble creating his own offense, especially when his layups and dunk, when he's not able to get to the hoop. Having Norm in the starting lineup is great. He deserves it. But at the end of the day, we need him coming off the bench because our bench has trouble with shot creation. Amir Coffey isn't a shot creator. Daniel Tice is not a shot creator. Russ is not at this point in his career. So, yeah, that one was tough. That one didn't sting as much as this Lakers loss. Basically, to encapsulate both of these games, this Lakers loss was horrific. Both on the court and then off the court, all over Twitter. It's never an easy time as a Clipper fan to lose to the Lakers, especially in a fourth quarter comeback like they did. This was the last game in Staples Center for the Clippers as the home team. As we know, we're getting a new stadium next season. So, you heard it from the Laker fans. Oh, this was an eviction notice game, blah, blah, blah. That shit's tough to hear. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We move on. And that brings us to the Wizards game. We played the Wizards. When was that? We played the Wizards on Friday. Clippers take the win 140-115. This was a blowout. Kind of expected it. I told Rolla last episode, if we lose to the Wizards based on how unserious they've been this offseason or this season, then something's terribly wrong. And thankfully we did not. We blew them out. Not much to say on this one other than the fact that James Harden did have a bounce back. James Harden went for 28 points. You kind of saw it, and I tweeted it out as the game was going by. There was a look that James Harden had that was different than the last two games. He obviously wanted to score. He was very aggressive. He was 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 6 for 9 from three, had 6 threes. I think he hit 4 in a row. Went on a little bit of a run. 9 for 13 from the field, 8 assists and 28 points, plus 19 in the plus minus. This was a great bounce back performance from James, and Kawhi stepped up to the plate as well. 27 from him. This wasn't a bad game from Paul George actually either. 22 points, 8 for 15 from the field. Paul George has been very up and down lately, but this one, I mean, granted, it was against the Wizards.
Worst team in the league.
Yeah, one of the worst teams in the league, but
no, the worst team.
No, I think the Pistons are worse still.
Oof. You have to check. You gotta check that.
I would have to. I would have to look back. I would have to look back on that, but I think the Pistons might still be marginally worse. Either way, this was a game that we needed to win, and we did. And the Stars got to rest in the fourth, which was huge. We saw Musa minutes. We even saw Josh Primo minutes and Kobe Brown and Brandon Boston.
They flashed a little bit of minutes to Josh Primo.
Some flashes of minutes from Josh Primo. That was a good one. Unfortunately, though, in this one, Russ on Russell Westbrook night, bobblehead night at Staples Center or Crypto, Russ ends up trying to go for a steal on Jordan Poole and ends up fracturing his hand. I think this was in the second or third quarter. Really tough loss, to the lineup, to the roster. Hopefully Russ can get back and get healthy. We need him for the playoffs. We need his rebounding and his defense. He kind of glues everything together coming off the bench. Doesn't show up in the stat sheet sometimes. Russ does a lot for this team. So hopefully a quick recovery, no surgery needed from Russ. But there's always a silver lining, guys. And we saw some Bones Highland minutes in this one. And Ty even said it after the game. Bones Highland is going to get his opportunity in Russ's absence. And, we saw it. He was extremely rusty. But what do you guys think? I mean, I think this is a good opportunity for Bones to be able to kind of get in rhythm. He played incredibly the first couple of games of the season before he made the Harden trade. And then he kind of just fell out of the lineup. He's a great kid. He's been, nothing but supportive, it seems like, all season. And he's getting his opportunity. Obviously, he's going to have to get back in shape and get in shape quick because we're going to need him to actually play some minutes, and do some things. But what do you guys think? I think this is a good opportunity for Bones.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we can't really judge anyone on this game. I mean, this is the worst team in the league. Like you said, they're unserious. Are they even an NBA team at this point? I think they've lost
barely.
I think they've lost every game in February.
They have.
Like
they are playing better now that Poole's coming off the bench, which I think should have been something that they did earlier in the season.
Oh no, they won the other day, didn't they?
I have
Jordan
no idea.
Poole dropped like 30 something points. The Wizards.
The Wizards.
I know that he dropped a bunch of points against the Lakers and they barely lost.
Oh yeah, no. So I think they've lost every game this month.
Yeah.
So to me, like, I'm not gonna look at any of these players and really anything that went on in this game outside of like Bones, for example, or like lower level players, or I guess the players that are outside of the usual rotation. But yeah, I mean, to me, like, Bones played amazing, but I would like to see him play this. Obviously, he was a little bit rusty. I think he was like 1 of 7 from the field. But he was doing a good job facilitating the game. I just think that I would like to see him ball out against an actual team.
Yeah.
And like with Russell Westbrook being out, going forward, he should see a decent amount more minutes. So I think he's a fantastic player. So we'll see going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just always nice to have somebody like Bones just to fill in, the gaps once we get an injury. And, even though it sucks for Westbrook to be out because he brings so much energy into the team, we get to see Bones, show us what time it is. And
yeah, no,
skill set.
100%. I think that it gives us an opportunity to kind of sharpen our tools off the bench. There might be time, depending on when Russ is back, there might be times where we need Bones in the playoffs. I think that his time will come in the playoffs. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know if it would mean heavy minutes or him just coming in for 10 minutes and scoring a couple points. But this is good. This is good for him, and he deserves it. You could tell that he was ready to play coming into this season, and obviously, you know, James Harden and Norman Powell deserve minutes over him. So it was just an unfortunate product of the trade that we made
Mm.
in terms of why he wasn't getting any minutes. But I'm excited to see, what he can show and how he can make his imprint on this season. Because it's a journey. There's parts of the season where guys step up and lead to some really impactful games. And with how close it is 1 through 4 right now in the West, every game matters. So big plays from Bones would be awesome. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to get right into game previews for this upcoming stretch of a week. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back, and we actually completely forgot to recap a very big win that just happened today. We're just so blinded by the joy and magnificence of this game that we completely forgot about it. So, we just want to touch on that real quick. The Clippers ended up winning the game today on Sunday, the 3rd of March. 89 to 88. The Clippers take the win against the Timberwolves in Minnesota. This one was a slugfest. The Clippers got down big early on. We found a way to kind of come back. A big part of that was Norman Powell. He was lighting it up from behind the arc. I think he had 3 threes in the first and cut the lead to 12, which isn't great. But without that, we would have been down a lot more. Norm had a great game, and then we actually executed a pretty strong second quarter. And like I said, we end up going into the half up 3. And then, as the game went by after halftime, it was kind of a back and forth game. We were not getting a whole lot in the third quarter, and everything before the third quarter from Paul George and James Harden. I think they were like 2 for 17, 2 for 15 or something like that combined going into halftime. Really, really slow game from those two, but we were within, 2 points, and we'd take a 2-point lead and a 3-point lead. So showing that or seeing that, with Paul George and James Harden having bad games offensively like they were having, and us still being within striking distance, was a testament to not only the work that Kawhi and Norm were putting in offensively, but just to the fact that this Timberwolves team is very, very, very good defensively. They're number 1 defense in the league for a reason. They have the personnel for it. But, I mean, it shows. And I think the advanced stats on their fourth quarter, like clutch time minutes, isn't very good either. They struggle on offense. And really, to beat this, everybody talks about how this team is a horrible matchup for the Clippers. We're never going to beat this team. If we can go into the late in the third or into the fourth with a 7-point, 8-point lead, it's hard for teams that aren't very good offensively to get back from that. And you kind of saw it in the fourth quarter. You move the ball, you get open shots, you force turnovers, and you just kind of create this cushion. And teams that aren't dynamic offensively, like, the Thunder or like us, or, there's other, the Cavs. The Cavs are really good offensively. Like, teams like that, the Pacers. Those teams can go on huge runs, but the Timberwolves, they get all their work done defensively. They create a lot of turnovers, they run the other way, and they get easy fast break dunks. And we took advantage of that in this game. Norman Powell had a steal late in the fourth, threw down a windmill dunk, ended up tweaking his elbow on that. So we'll see what happens, what comes of that tomorrow. We play the Bucks tomorrow. But yeah, just a great game from Norm, and a really, really good game from Kawhi. 32 from Kawhi. Didn't dish the ball a ton, only had 1 assist. He was kind of in scoring takeover mode. Paul George, like I said before, really struggled this game, but he hit some big shots, had a big three on Karl Anthony Towns late in the fourth, which really kind of, I think it gave us a 1 or 2 point lead, really kind of kept us in the game. And James, only 4 points, was a -10, the plus minus, but 10 assists from him, which was great. So
James Harden only had 4 points.
only had 4 points, but 10 assists. He was 0 for 10 from the field, which isn't good at all.
Jesus.
But yeah, and then Daniel Tice, man, this dude's been balling. 13 rebounds,
Dude.
only had 4 points, shot a little too many threes than I would have liked. 0 for 4 from 3. But he did a good job at, getting his hands in the mix when Gobert would take it too low or try and get into the post. And like I said, Norman Powell 24 points, plus 19 from the plus minus, and 6 for 8 from 3. So great minutes from Norm. Hopefully this elbow thing that he's got going on after that windmill dunk isn't anything to write home about, because we need him tomorrow against the Bucks. But yeah, I mean, a great win that brings us to within 2 games of the 3 teams that are ahead of us. So this is a great win and a good way to kind of keep us in striking distance from the top 3 seeds, which I think is something that we need to really, really shoot for this season. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Timberwolves game. If you guys want to take us right into the previews.
Yeah, I just wanted to say really quick. I didn't get a chance to watch this game, but just looking off of the box score, it looked like this game was basically won off of our second unit with Daniel Tice, Bones Highland, Amir Coffey, and Norman Powell.
They did a good job.
They all had plus. They all had, like, Norm had plus 19, Daniel Tice had plus 14, Bones had plus 11, Coffey had plus 8, and then all of our starters were all minuses.
And guess who didn't play? Guess who didn't play? PJ Tucker and Mason Plumlee.
But yeah, it looks like Kawhi just balled out, bro. 32 points is insane. Anyways, but to move forward on the previews, we're playing the Bucks tomorrow.
Tough back-to-back.
That's going to be a tough game in general, just because it's the Bucks. We got to deal with Giannis, who is just a monster. What's that face?
But guess who's the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks?
Oh, the great Doc Rivers. Yeah, so this is going to be easy win, bro. No, it's going to be tough. I think the Bucks have been, I mean, I haven't really been paying too much attention to them recently. After Doc Rivers started having them lose a lot, but
they're second in the league in points, which is points per game, which is crazy to me. I actually did not know that.
Thing with Doc Rivers is he knows the Clippers, he knows Ty Lue, so he's gonna have a great plan coming in the game. Is this our first? This is our first meeting with Doc Rivers, right?
Yes,
against Doc Rivers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he knows. I mean, he knows the Clippers. He knows Ty Lue. He kind of has a familiar understanding of how we play. So I think it's just going to be a tough game based off of that. But at the end of the day, they're still coached by Doc Rivers, so you never know. They might just give us the win at the end of the game, kind of like how we did with the Lakers. But
guys, we're just gonna have to give it to them. They played well.
But yeah, I mean, do you guys have anything you guys want to say on the Bucks game?
Connor, if you don't have anything, let me just explain a little bit. I think now that Doc Rivers, I mean, this has kind of turned into a Doc Rivers pod, but I'm just going to put this out there. The Bucks, since Doc Rivers has taken over, have kind of been hit and miss. This is one to me that I could see the Bucks getting off to an early lead, because they are second in the league in points per game, and Giannis is a world beater when he's got it going, and they have the personnel. Obviously Damian Lillard. They still have Damian Lillard. He hasn't had a good season, really. For most of the season, he hasn't been playing up to his normal level. But they have guys that can pour on points in a hurry. But this is one to me that I could just see the Bucks getting up to like a 10, 12 point lead going into the half. But if there's anything that we know about Doc Rivers, is that his execution down the stretch, particularly in close games late, leaves a lot to be desired. And I think that a lot of this game will boil down to who is the better coach. And I, for one, think that Ty Lue He's a much better coach than Doc Rivers at this point. I would love to see us throwing different mixtures of, rotations out there, just trying different, don't adjust too much. We don't want to see too much tinkering tie, but, kind of throw some curveballs out there. I would love to see maybe Bones, get some minutes, especially if the Bucks end up going small, taking Brook Lopez out or something like that and running Bobby Portis or Giannis at the 5. This is one that I think that if the Clippers do end up pulling out the win, we'll do it late, later in the third quarter, early in the fourth, and going on a run, because the Clippers have been a very good team in the clutch this season, contrary to some of the other seasons. So I don't know. I think that the Clippers will win this one, and I think that if they do, it'll be done late in the game.
Okay, I feel that.
Okay.
And I guess like going on to the Rockets game, that's a back-to-back?
No. So the Bucks game's a back-to-back.
So we got to. Okay, gotcha. Because we play today, we play the Bucks tomorrow. On Wednesday, we play the Rockets, and the Rockets have been a fantastic team this season. They've done a lot more than fantastic, as in like
a lot better than expected.
Yeah, their growth from where they were at last year.
They are 12th in the West.
They're 12th?
Yeah.
I mean, the Warriors are 10th, so
that's true. That's true.
Thing is, it's like I feel like they are. It's not going to be an easy win. It's not like we're playing the Wizards.
No.
They can actually, upset us. They're not a team that we can just wake up and beat. We're gonna have to actually like prepare and be ready to play, because they have a lot of young players.
They crash the glass really hard too. Fourth in the league in rebounds.
They have a lot of energy, and they're gonna bring it, especially against a Clippers team who many people believe are the favorites to win the championship this year. So I think it'll be a tough. I mean, obviously, I think we're gonna win, but I think it'll be a tough win. I think it's not going to be given. But like I always say, I would love to see this game over by the third quarter, early fourth quarter, so our stars can get some much needed rest. I mean, Paul George has been banged up for the past couple weeks, and I feel like the guy just needs to get some rest. Honestly, what do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, just looking at I'm looking at the screen, but I'm looking at the previews. I think both of our games, I know we haven't talked about it yet, but against the Bucks is going to be difficult. Just like we said, they are the Bucks. They're a very good team. Rockets, I feel like we're going to win. Sengun is kind of a player that I think will do a number against us, just because he has like that mass and the ability to actually control the ball, hold it, and like make plays as well.
He does have that mass.
Yeah, he's mass. Anyway.
Yeah, he's mass.
He's mass.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, and Jabari Smith Jr. too. I know he's been kind of having like a hot streak lately and just doing like contributing.
He's been great this season.
Yeah, he's had like a lot better every year this year. Even though I personally don't even know his like strong skill set. Like, do you guys know much about him?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of reminds me of like almost like a Chris Bosh type player, where he can shoot it from behind the arc. He's got a really good kind of like almost 3-level scoring game, but I mean, he crashes the glass hard. He kind of does all the things that a big man does, but he plays like a forward. And they've been playing him more at the 3, kind of like a tweener forward position this season, and it's been working out for them. He a lot of the time he'll hide in the corners, and when Sengun, because Sengun's such a great passer, when Sengun's got the double on him, he usually just kicks it out to Smith, and he's been shooting it well. So yeah, I mean, those are two guys that we're going to probably have to focus on the most. Obviously, Jalen Green can get it going in a hurry, but conversely to Smith, Jalen Green's had kind of a very up and down season. He's almost kind of cut from the same cloth as Jordan Poole, where you can see he gets rattled quickly, or he just doesn't have the seriousness to kind of be counted on. I mean, Udoka will pull him late in the game sometimes just because of his approach, and he'll just kind of throw up shots and stuff. So I think Smith and Sengun are going to be two guys that we have to watch, and then obviously Fred VanVleet, he's a champion. He's been a great addition for them this season. But yeah, I mean, those three, and then just the antics from Dylan Brooks, all going to be things that we got to watch for. Yeah. But this is another. Injured. No, I think he's playing.
Is he back?
Oh, okay. I think he's playing, But yeah, I mean, this is one that we're going to have to win. I think that the Rockets, I don't know if you guys have seen, but it looks like there's kind of like a budding rivalry between the Rockets and the Suns. So I think that and they've played the Suns a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that the Rockets, are exhausting a lot of their edge and their emotion towards those games. So, if we can kind of put them away and get them, like you said, Rolla, get them out of the game early and just kind of rest our stars going into the third or going into the fourth, that would go a long way. And I think this one might be the first. I can't remember if this one's the first night of a back-to-back. No. Okay.
The next game, the Bulls game on Saturday, is the
first night of a
back-to-back, and we're playing the Bucks again on that Sunday.
The Sunday afterwards.
I think the Bulls should be. I mean, the Bulls. Like, speaking of unserious, I think the Bulls are, like, by far one of the most unserious teams in the league, just because of their talent level. I think they should be one of the better teams in the league, yet they aren't.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have Levine, which is a big hit,
but they still have DeMar DeRozan, and DeMar, I mean, I feel like he's been balling recently, but overall they're just not that good of a team. I don't really know where they are in the standings right now.
They're ninth in the East, 25th in points per game, 13th in rebounds, 27th in assists per game, 12th in defense. So they're pretty mid, as the kids say.
Yeah, to be ninth in a weak Eastern Conference is concerning.
Mm-hmm.
But, I expect a win from the Clippers on Saturday. And then, same goes for the Bucks game. I mean, we already went over that, but I expect the same thing. Doc Rivers hopefully will give us the game two games in a row in 1 week. But
the Bulls do have a guy named Andrew Funk on their team, so you got to watch out for him just because of his name.
Yeah, dude, he can bring the funk.
Yeah, he's gonna bring that funk. I don't know anything about Andrew Funk for all the funk heads out there. But yeah, the first night of a back-to-back. Again, prioritizing putting your foot on the neck early and getting rest, because this is a tough. I mean, we've had some tough back-to-backs, but this stretch coming, with the Bucks tomorrow after a hard-fought game against the Timberwolves, and then the Bucks again on the second night of a back-to-back after the Bulls. This Bulls game is one we're going to have to put away quick. I would absolutely hate. I mean, not having rust too, particularly. I would hate to have this one be a close one, or go to overtime, God forbid. We need to handle business in this one, and I think that is probably more important to me than how we approach the game against the Bucks. I think how we approach this game against the Bulls is going to indicate how we're going to play against the Bucks. So, tough, some tough back-to-backs, but the Clippers are 2-0 in March. We don't move, guys. We march.
Boo.
You guys like that one? No? Okay. Anyway, we're playing well in March. Let's keep the streak up. We're going to take another quick break, and we are going to get right into the segment that we've been pushing off to wait for Connor to come back, but he is back, and so we will get right into Hot Take, Shot Take after this quick break. All right, ladies and gents, we are back. We are going to get right into Hot Take, Shot Take. And I think I'm going to elect that I start this one out.
Yeah, start us off.
We got to start it out right. I always have the best takes. So, and today is not going to be any different. So, this Hot Take, Shot Take is brought to you by Bullet Bourbon.
Ew.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I got some random rum.
Okay.
In my cabinet.
Connor's got some random rum.
Rolla, what about you? What are you working with?
Some tequila.
Okay.
So my hot take, shot take is that Bones Highland in the next week, at some point before we come to you next week with the next episode, Bones Highland is going to have, in one of these games, one of these 4 games, going to be the leading scorer for the Los Angeles Clippers with at least 30 points.
Wow, that's hot.
Wow.
Yeah. So there we have it.
He can go off, though. So I like that.
We've seen it.
And he is getting more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what the hell is that face?
Yeah. I'm taking a shot of bourbon on Sunday at 4:50 p.m.
Cheers.
Whee! Yes.
All right,
that one's for you, Clipper Nation. All right, who's next?
Rolla, you
go
go.
on, Connor. Oh, okay.
No, you go. I want to hear your shot take. And there's something that you, I think, are going to say that I'm going to have a clap back to.
Yeah, he wants to hear your shot take. Yeah, it's got to be really loud, bro. You gotta
Yeah,
sip
I'm
it
gonna
real loud.
gulp right into the mic.
Yeah. Let's get some ASMR in here. Come on.
So my hot take is, Connor, you're not gonna like this one.
Yep.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a fantastic player.
Clipper legend.
He's a Clipper legend. He's done so much for in the one. Was he on the Clippers for 1 year, 2 years?
1 year, unfortunately.
In the 1 year he was on the Clippers, he did a lot for us. He won that playoff game for it. Well, I don't want to say he won, but he was a big part of that playoff game when we beat the Warriors, or that playoff series, and the game that we beat the Warriors. But I believe that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not a number one option on a championship team. I think he's overrated, and
I think he has become overrated too.
Wait. Let him finish.
I think people put him on a pedestal of the likes of Luka, the likes of Jokic, the likes of Giannis. These are the people that will be in the league as he is in his prime. And I do not think that he can lead a team to win a championship being those types of players.
That's a good point. Real quick, I just want to piggyback off that because that's something that I've kind of talked about with my friends and family over the course of this season. Because he's one of my favorite players in the league. Shai's amazing. I love the way he plays. He's super shifty. His change of speed is incredible. Roll is having trouble with his shot, but and I think it's more indicative of the way that this Thunder team is constructed. But they rely a little too much on Shai. And while he's an amazing scorer, he's probably one of the best isolation scorers in the game right now. I don't necessarily think he is, if they really want to win a championship, at least for right now, I don't think that he's a number one option. So
I don't think he can ever get there. I hate to say it. I don't think he can ever get there because for me to be a number one, for
Rolla to be a number one option on a team.
No.
God.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
Crazy.
But no, it's not a crazy take. For me, the only players that can win a championship in the league today, currently, there are 6 players. Last year, I said there were 5 players. Now there are 6 players. It's LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jokic, and Kawhi. Those are the 6 players.
Yeah.
Everyone outside of those players are just stars, and they're just playing to play, basically. I think Shai Gilgeous is in that tier, in that second tier of players that are just playing to play. Until he teams up with I think Luka is the next type of player to get into that top 6, or I guess it would be 7. But outside of those guys, it's kind of just.
I think we can give him a little grace just because his team, his supporting cast is so young, right?
Yeah, but even I think even if look at the Celtics, look at what Jason Tatum has. Are you do you think that Shai Gilgeous is so much better than Jason Tatum, for example? I think that to be a championship level superstar, you have to either be an unstoppable force, or you have to have a shot, or you got to be a shooter, and you have to have a shot that goes in no matter what. And I don't think Shai has that.
He's really good in the mid range, and he's really good at getting to the hoop. But he's kind of he's kind of stepped away from his 3-point shooting this season, which makes sense.
Does he have a shot where you've lost? For example, like the Laker game, do you have a shot where at the end you've lost, your team has lost the lead, you're now down by 3 points? Does Shai have a shot where he can go to, everyone in the entire world knows he's going to go to that shot, and he still hits it every single time?
I think
because Kawhi has that, Steph Curry has that, LeBron has that. He has the
LeBron has the I'm going to look at my hand for 5 seconds.
Or he has the
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Giannis is an unstoppable force. He obviously doesn't have a shot that he goes to, but he's just a monster that you can't stop. Same thing with Jokic. He's just a monster that you can't stop.
Well, I think it's similar.
Unstoppable.
I think it's similar to Giannis, where Shai's go-to move is, use a combination of dribble moves and change of speed to get to the hoop or get to within 3 feet, turn around J or whatever. But
if you put someone like Paul George on him for a 7-game series, is in that 7th game, is he going to be able to still do that?
Exactly.
Is that still going to work on Paul George 7 games in a row?
The difference between him and Giannis is that Giannis has the height, and once he gets into the paint, he's physically very hard to stop because you're either sending him to the line or he's going to make the shot or both.
Exactly.
With Shea, he's bigger for a guard. He's it's like 6'6", 6'5", but I think that will kind of go away from him in the playoffs. So I can I'm not going to take another shot, Rolla, but I will cheers your shot as well.
Damn.
Connor, you got something to say?
Yeah, that's hurt my feelings, Rolla. SJ is my boy.
I'm sorry, it's the truth.
Listen,
bro.
nobody loves Shea more than Clipper fans.
Of course.
Like we all love Shea, but we got to be realistic here.
I mean, there's some things that I do agree with in terms of what you guys were saying. Like, I think he can do a lot more, and I don't think he's at that, But at the same rate, he's putting up numbers. He's averaging almost 30 points per game, or close to, if not over, in the MVP contention, just because of the amount of games he's played. And
I agree. He'll probably get MVP this season.
Mm-hmm.
He probably will.
I will say part of my shot or hot take is that I still think they'll give it to Jokic. Or something or just somebody like
that. That's your hot take.
No, that's actually not my hot take. But that was just like something I thought of within that and within Rolla's take. But man, I still think he can produce. I think they'll go far in playoffs. But
I love it. No, I love it. I think it's good. You have that confidence.
Yeah, but
yeah.
My hot take is, I'm calling it right now with the room. The Heat are going to be in the conference finals.
Whoa. I can see it. I mean,
I can't. That's really hot. I can't see.
I don't think it's that hot.
I think it's very hot.
They just did it 2 years ago. Was that last? No, that was last year, right?
The East has gotten better,
but
this season.
Here's my thought. Embiid is still out. I think Philly's going to drop quite a bit. I think the Heat are playing right now. Mm-hmm. They're getting all their guys back, and they're playing better. We all know about playoff Jimmy. I think he's coming back again. And I think the Bucks might not do as great as.
Dude, talk about overrated. Talk about overrated, man. No! Jimmy Butler is overrated.
Wait,
Nick,
that's opening up a whole. I know we're.
Okay, yeah, okay, yes.
Playoff Jimmy will come again. I'm calling that now. I'm thinking they have the capability to outbeat teams that should, go farther in playoffs, and I think they'll surprise a lot of people, and I think they'll probably play Boston in the conference finals. But yeah, I don't know.
It's very interesting. I mean, no, I mean, it's fair because you really can't ever count this Heat team out just based on, Eric Spoelstra is one of the best in the business. They top to bottom, they have a very specific culture. I hate the whole Heat culture thing, but it's true. They really do have a grit to them, and they have a way of finding ways to win. They added Terry Rozier, which is going to help. But, yeah, I don't know. And that's not to detract from what Jimmy Butler is as a player. He's a fantastic player. I would say that 80% of his skill is between the ears, right? He just wants to win. It's the mentality.
Yep.
But with that being said, I think that he gets a lot of credit for I think he gets more credit for what he does on the floor in terms of skill and talent than he probably should. I think that he's one of those players who, we talk about it with a lot of players. DeMar DeRozan, for example. This is a guy that gets shit on for not having a three-point shot, right? DeMar DeRozan's a master of the mid-range. But the one thing that he's never really incorporated into his game is a consistent three-point shot. And, Jimmy's hit, plenty of times in his career, he's hit big threes. But that is not something that he's incorporated into his game where I'm thinking Jimmy Butler is lethal behind the arc. Mm-hmm. And I think that people get so caught up in the fact that he's this larger-than-life personality, and he really does have one of the strongest wills to win that we have in the game, and he really, commands a lot of respect from his teammates. But I think that there are holes in his game that people kind of glaze over because he's such a dominant figure mentally, that I think when it comes time to him making, he catches the ball behind the arc, game's on the line, he's got to make a three. I don't trust Jimmy Butler really to make that shot. And I think in today's game, you really have to be, you have to be able to honor someone behind the 3-point line, to be able to say that they're part of that tier. And I don't think Jimmy Butler is a part of that. So
No, they're gonna.
I don't think he's a part of. I don't think he's a part of that tier, but what this dude, like you said, he doesn't have he's not a master of the 3-point shot. He doesn't have a set shot that he goes to, but his will to win,
to get to the free throw line is insane.
Well, everyone does that,
Yeah.
But his will to win is beyond anyone else in the league. This dude is beating a fully healthy Celtics team. He's beating a fully healthy Bucks team, and he does his second best player is Bam Adebayo, who's a marginal all-star player.
Well, Bam to me is more talented than Jimmy, but
but Bam isn't the number one option. He's not doing. He's not making them he's not the reason why they're winning. I
just think that Jimmy's been able to do what he's been able to do because his desire to win is so strong, and that's a testament to how hard he works and the way that he approaches the game. But I just think because the East has gotten so much more talented, look at Jalen Brunson. We want to talk about MVP, people in the MVP talk or whatever conversation. You have Jalen Brunson. The Knicks have been very hit and miss this season, and they don't have Julius Randle. But you have Jalen Brunson. You have guys like Tyrese Halliburton, who, to me, if I was to build around a team, around a young guy in the league, Tyrese Halliburton is my guy.
Over Luka?
Over Luka, yes. Yeah, absolutely. He commands.
You gotta take a shot for that.
No.
That's a hot take.
Basically, my thing is the East has gotten a lot better, and the talent pool has gotten a lot higher, and the will to win and that grit and that fight can only take you so far when you're playing against some of the most talented people in the league. So, while I respect your take, Connor, I'm gonna have to disagree with that one.
All right. Well, we're just gonna have to see. We're just gonna have to see.
We will just have to see, and I think we're running a little bit over time, so I think that does it with this segment of Hot Take, Shot Take, and with this episode of the Clip Service Pod. Thank you guys so much for checking in. Let us know how you like the podcast. Comment, subscribe, support us any way you can. We really appreciate it. We're starting off March the right way. We got a tough string of games coming up, so let's hope the Clippers can keep it going. We don't move, we march. Yes, so hopefully, crickets from my co-host. We'll see. If we go undefeated in this stretch, you guys are gonna have to embrace this slogan, and we're gonna have to put this on blast. What is going on? What was that noise?
My fire alarm in my apartment is going off.
Oh wow! So Connor might be in some serious danger. So we got to get out of here,
Connor's
guys.
Apartment might be on fire.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. Listen to us, stream us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer. Please support us any way you can. We really appreciate it, guys. We move, we march, and as always, go Clips.
Go Clips.